In this series of videos, we will discuss what each individual player needs to do to help the Hurricanes potentially win the 2023-2024 Stanley Cup. And we are starting with Martin Nečas. In my opinion, Martin Nečas has become a much better player than he was at the beginning. I want to break down some of the things that I think that he's improved on the most, what things he can improve on, improve the chances for the Hurricanes to win the Cup. First off, Martin Nečas has several strengths as a player. His skating is incredible. He might be the best skater in the league. His edge work, his stride, everything. He has a ton of speed. He pivots incredibly well. The ability to change his speed and change his angles of his feet incredibly quickly. His acceleration is excellent. In that regard, Martin Nečas has nothing else really to learn as far as being a skater. I would actually love to see him put up in a foot race with Connor McDavid, Dylan Larkin, guys that are really known for their speed, particularly forwards that are really known for their speed, and see how he does. Secondly, Martin Nečas does have a cannon of a shot. He's been flirting with Ovechkin's office, who he stated was one of his two favorite players along with Jaromir Jagr, henceforth why he wears 88. It's a nod to 8 and 68. There's a lot more potential for him in the goal-scoring department. He is one of, if not the best player on the Hurricanes at executing clean entries. His playmaking and puck distribution abilities have improved very much as well, and as he's come off a career season where he led the Hurricanes in points, I think that there's more there to give. One thing you may or may not have noticed about Martin Nečas, he seems to play better against teams that he plays against frequently. In the shortened 2021 season, the same 7 teams over and over again, he was very dominant. He had a very imposing presence on the ice and did amazing things, especially when he had possession of the puck. This also was very evident when he was playing against the Devils in the second round of the playoffs. When Martin Nečas has a frequent opponent, he tends to find ways to pick apart their defense. This is an incredibly valuable asset of his that can make him a habitual threat in the postseason and against other frequently faced teams, such as the ones in the Metropolitan Division. So Martin Nečas' game does not have many deficiencies in my opinion, but the ones he does have can be consequential at times. To be abundantly clear, he has improved in all these regards, but he still has a little bit to go. Nečas was pretty bad at committing turnovers, particularly in the neutral zone at one point. This is still a little bit of a problem, but in the last couple of seasons, it has improved. He was also frequently trying to force plays that weren't there, and this often resulted in turnovers in bad spots, such as the opposing team's blue line, and gave the opposing team the puck in very vulnerable spots, although this has become less frequent. Now, one thing that I know has probably messed with Nečas' game a little bit, that he is a natural center. He has always played center, and he's been relegated to the wing so long as he's been in Carolina. Now, my best guess for this, and this is something I'll do a deeper video analysis on at some point, but I want to see if he's still on the wing when the season starts, is that Brind'Amour was worried about his defensive competency, and I feel like that worry was absolutely warranted. And while that has improved, I can still see why he would be reluctant to put Nečas at the center position, especially considering how Brind'Amour likes to run the team. The one particular glaring issue I think that Brind'Amour is worried about is that Nečas would attempt to break out and fly the zone too early, because if you watched him play any of the games when he was playing in Czech Extraliga, Nečas is all about the attack. He is all about getting the puck, getting possession of it, and taking it to the other end, and then he'll figure out the rest of it later. And part of the reason why he was having some issues, because this kid is such an incredible skater and has such great hands, that sometimes his hands and his feet move faster than his brain does. In my opinion, Nečas also struggles with the mental aspect of the game. I feel like if he gets out of his own head, he will become a legitimate superstar in the National Hockey League and will be an essential piece, maybe second only to Aho, in the forward core of the Hurricanes to win the Cup. So here's ultimately what I think. 1. Nečas needs to be tried out at the center position. I don't think he's comfortable being relegated to half of the ice. He's someone who has incredible skating, incredible hands, incredible puck distribution, and can shoot. And I think him not being relegated to one side of the ice as a winger, being given a little bit more freedom to be as creative as he is capable of being, will be beneficial to the Hurricanes as a whole. Number 2, the mental aspect of the game is the only thing that seems to derail Martin Nečas. If he can figure that out, the defensive lapses will all but disappear and his scoring will skyrocket. And number 3, identify when to be selfish and when to be selfless. In my opinion, Martin Nečas' ability to be a playmaker and a scorer could be almost a 50-50 split. He could easily become the most versatile forward on the Hurricanes. If he manages to harness those things, he will be an absolute weapon 5-on-5 and on the power play in particular. And once he gets his penalty killing down with his speed, he could potentially rival Aho in the short-handed department. In conclusion, I think that after the State Fair road trip is over and the Hurricanes have some home games where they could maybe potentially experiment with him playing center full-time, since they'll have last change and he can truly get used to it at the NHL level, I think that will be the best thing for him. Considering his coach is one of the best defensive centers that ever played the game, he's got to prove it to him, and I understand why Brendan Moore takes the viewpoint that he does. This organization loves to do internal hires, and I think that this would be the best internal hire they could do to move the needle towards winning the Cup. Put Nečas as the second-line center. You've already got 3 other guys who are capable of playing center in the other 2 zones very well. Let Martin Nečas give it a shot. Place the majority of his responsibility in the offensive zone draws and on the offensive side of the red line. Let him make plays. Let him do his thing. Turn him loose. See what he can do. If the experiment fails, you'll know within a couple of games whether it would work or not. So that's all I've got for this video. I'm planning on trying to do one of these every day, or at least every other day up until the start of the season, where I'll be highlighting either one player or a pair of players. For example, the video I have planned to talk about this with Slavin and Pesce will include both of them. The next forward will be Seth Jarvis, and the next defenseman will be Tony DeAngelo. So that's all I've got for this video. Please click the like button, subscribe, share it, tell your friends about it, all that good stuff. And please consider donating to my Buy Me a Coffee page, and the link will be in the description. Thank you very much. Y'all take care, and I will see you next time.